All right, let's talk about crypto and digital assets. We hear about them all the time, but if you peel back all the layers of hype, what you find is a technology that isn't just new. It's a complete reinvention of something we've been using for thousands of years, the simple accounting ledger. And that reinvention, well, it's poised to change just about everything.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by cutting through the crypto noise. Then we'll take a quick trip back in time to understand the history of ledgers, because it's key to understanding the revolution that's happening right now. After that, we'll dive into what this all means for finance, for our money, and for the very idea of ownership.
You know, it really feels like you can't escape it these days. Everyone seems to be talking about crypto, about stablecoins, about the next big thing in digital assets. But what is actually going on here? If we sift through all the speculation and all the noise, what's the real, lasting innovation that we should be paying attention to?
I mean, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? The conversation has officially broken out of the tech circles and is happening in everyday places, like coffee shops. The public fever is undeniable. But this kind of buzz really forces us to ask a much bigger question. To find that answer, we can't just look at what's happened in the last couple of years. No, we need to look back, way back. Thousands of years, actually, at a piece of technology that we all use every single day, whether we realize it or not. And that technology is the accounting ledger. Now, I know what you're thinking. Accounting doesn't exactly sound like the most exciting topic. But trust me on this. The way we record value is one of the most powerful forces in all of human history. To really get a grasp on the future of finance, you first have to understand the past of the ledger.
Just think about this for a second. In all of recorded history, humanity has really only had 3 massive leaps forward in how we do accounting. The first was basically just simple bookkeeping on clay tablets. The second, double entry accounting, didn't come along for almost 5,000 years, back in Renaissance Italy. And the third, well, it started in 2009. We are living right in the middle of it. So what is it about this third leap, this distributed ledger, that makes it so radically different, so revolutionary compared to everything that came before? You know, the core idea is almost deceptively simple, but the implications are absolutely massive. For the very first time in history, we have a single shared source of truth that isn't owned or controlled by any one person or company. It's less like a private company database and way more like a public utility for recording value, kind of like a GPS for money.
And this right here, this is the paradigm shift. The old way, with private ledgers, requires this huge, expensive social infrastructure just to make us trust each other. We need auditors, regulators, lawyers, courts, all just to try and prevent fraud. And even then, we can never be 100% sure someone's books are true. The new way completely flips that on its head. Trust isn't forced from the outside, it's baked right into the DNA of the system through radical transparency. Okay, so once you have this new kind of global public ledger, you don't just get to improve the old financial system, you get to build a completely new one from scratch. It's like we're not just patching up old rusty plumbing anymore, we're designing a fundamentally new architecture for how value moves around the world.
Just take something as simple as a stock trade. In the old system, you need this long chain of middlemen, brokers, exchanges, clearinghouses, and each one adds cost, time, and complexity. On a distributed ledger, because we're all looking at the same shared book of records, you can just transact directly with another person, peer-to-peer. All those middlemen, they just aren't necessary anymore.
Then there's this idea of settlement. Our current financial system runs on something called net settlement. The best way to think about it is like a giant restaurant tab. Everybody runs up charges all day long, and it's only at the end of the day that the whole system has to shut down to figure out who owes what to whom. It could take hours, sometimes days. With a distributed ledger, the transaction is the settlement. It's final, in real time, instantly.
And that whole process of settling the tab at the end of the day, that's the entire reason why stock markets have opening and closing bells. They literally have to shut down to balance the books. But an infrastructure that's built on real-time settlement, it never needs to close. It is always on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Just like the internet.
Okay, so we've established this powerful new financial plumbing is being built. Now we can finally, and properly, understand the why behind stablecoins. Because they're not just another speculative asset. They are the first major real-world application to be built on top of this brand new infrastructure.
And this isn't just theory, let's make it real. Imagine a domestic worker who needs to send $200 of her hard-earned paycheck back home to her family overseas. Going through the old financial system, that transfer is painfully slow and expensive. High fees eat away at money her family desperately needs. But with stablecoins on these new rails, the money arrives almost instantly, and it costs next to nothing. This isn't just a small improvement. For millions of people, this is life-changing.
And look, this is not a hypothetical scenario. Check out this incredible statistic from Nigeria. It's estimated that up to 40% of the entire population owns dollar-backed stablecoins. For many of them, people who are shut out of the traditional banking system, stablecoins aren't some speculative investment. No, they're a vital tool for saving money and a gateway to the global economy. They are actually solving that last-mile problem of financial inclusion.
As powerful as they are, stablecoins are really just the beginning. They represent the tokenization of money. The next chapter, which is arguably much bigger, involves bringing every other type of real-world asset onto this new global ledger. This next evolution is called real-world asset tokenization, or RWA for short. The logic is simple. If we can represent a dollar as a digital token, why can't we do the same thing for a government bond, or a share of a building, or a piece of fine art? The first wave of this is already happening with financial assets, but the next wave is where it gets really interesting: tokenizing physical things. The ultimate goal is to make every single form of value as liquid and easy to send as an email, which could grow the digital asset market from trillions to tens of trillions of dollars.
And all of this brings us to the final and biggest idea of all: the shift from countless private, siloed ledgers to a single, global, public one isn't just a technical upgrade for the financial industry. It's a fundamental change in how we define, how we exchange, and how we relate to value itself. It really forces us to ask, in a world where any asset can be moved instantly and transparently, what does ownership really even mean?